Hey guys, Entertainment Weekly recently put out the 100 greatest all-time movies, TV shows, and record albums. And what I want to do is just spotlight a few of these. The top 10, in this case the top 10 TV shows of all time, according to Entertainment Weekly. I don't agree with all these, but here we go. At number 10, Your Show of Shows. Now, this is a 1950s 90-minute variety show, one of the first, in fact, maybe the first variety show on television, starring Sid Caesar, Imogene Coca, and having a cast of numerous others, and Woody Allen and Mel Brooks, and just a Carl Reiner, just a number of greats on there. You need to check it out sometime if you haven't. Coming in at number 9, one of my favorite shows that's on right now, Mad Men. Love this show, really well conceived. You know, go back in time to the 60s, a different time. Show people when there was nothing to smoke in their offices and have a scotch in the middle of the day. And these ad men on Madison Avenue, which is how this name comes from, really led a different type of lifestyle than you and I. And an interesting one, nonetheless. Well worth checking out. Number 8, one of my favorite television shows of all time, Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. Who would have thought that a movie that was, not so great, in my opinion anyway, you might argue, could turn into such a wonderful kind of coming-of-age story or growing-up story. You've got these high school kids who form a, for lack of a better term, almost a club around killing vampires. Really interesting storylines. Sarah Michelle Gellar, excellent. Josh Whedon, well conceived, well thought out, and just a great cast of characters. Again, one of my favorite shows of all time. It's got comedy, drama, really a great show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And number 6, the Andy Griffith Show. You know, I watched this as a kid, and I liked it. You know, I have a greater appreciation for it now than I did then. And if it's on, I'll normally check it out for a little while. Not one of my favorite shows of all time. I don't think it necessarily deserves a number 6 ranking, but it definitely pictured a small-town America in probably no way that any other show had until that time. And you've got a great cast of characters there, including the little Ron Howard there in the foreground as Opie. My favorite television show of all time, or at least it's in the top 3. I think it's my favorite. Number 6 here on their list, All in the Family. Who would have thought that a character like Archie Bunker could ever exist on television? So politically incorrect. In fact, I don't think you can make this show today with all the political correctness going on in the world. This show would be difficult to make today, but then Archie took on anyone. Archie had his ideas. He was a bigot, no doubt about it. But he loved his wife, he loved his daughter, came to love his son-in-law, and was a hard-working stiff. You know, just a blue-collar dude. We loved to hate him. Hated him and loved him, I'm not sure, but All in the Family, great show. Coming in at number 5, another one of my favorites, The Sopranos. And you know, it's hard to talk about The Sopranos without talking about James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano. I mean, Tony Soprano, another guy that we love to hate. Now here's a guy who's a mob figure, who kills people, who has people killed. Yeah, we love Tony Soprano. And I think the reason for that was James Gandolfini and some great writing by David Chase and others. But, you know, James Gandolfini made the character of Tony Soprano. He lumbered around like a big old bear, and, you know, but he had a wife that he had problems with, he had kids he had problems with, he had problems in his business. We could relate to Tony on some levels, and we like Tony Soprano. Number 4, another one that I watched when I was a kid, but I'm not sure it deserves number 4, but it was a good show. And I wouldn't take anything away from Mary Tyler Moore. She's a beautiful and wonderful comedic actress. In the show, you know, of course, you had Betty White and a lot of others on this show. Definitely a good show. I wouldn't put it at number 4, but it was a good show. Number 3, another show I think is a little overrated. I like Seinfeld, but I'm not sure that a show about nothing should be in the number 3 in the all-time shows of all time. It certainly was clever how it was able to wind different story plots together I always thought it seemed a little contrived that you take 3 or 4 different story things and they all sort of mesh together somehow at the end. But it's a great show nonetheless. Maybe not top 10, but 2, Simpsons. Great show. Because it's a cartoon, it probably doesn't get the love it deserves. Although I shouldn't say that because it's been, a hit for so many years. Just a great show. I wouldn't probably put it in my top 10 of all time. I'll do my top 10 another time, but it's a great show. The #1 show of all time, according to Entertainment Weekly, a show I've never seen, The Wire. I can tell you after I read the articles, I delved a little bit more into The Wire and found a little bit more about it. And I will be picking this up very shortly. And we'll be doing an unboxing of it and also my commentary on it. A gritty story that takes place in Baltimore. That's it, guys.